Greetings, my name's Harvey Withington. I'm one of the co-creators of the hit new adult animation series Mandela Days. Welcome to this Adobe Character Animator tutorial. This is part 2 of a 3-part tutorial series on emotion-based character rigging. So if you haven't watched part 1, you might as well sit there making fart sounds with your mouth and clapping your hands together and masturbate in your own feces or something, because this is going to make absolutely no sense. So those of you that haven't seen part 1, go back and watch it now, okay? Off you go. We'll wait here, and I promise I won't do anything while you're gone. So the rest of us, we'll just get into it. Don't worry about them then. I've watched the other video anyway. They don't understand how videos work if they think we have to wait. Let's have a look at Gary, and I'll take you through roughly the techniques that we're using. And to be honest, there's nothing magical here at all. It's really just organization and a fair bit of work. There's a fair bit of tedious work involved, duplication of layers and so on. But once you've done that work, you end up with a puppet that can not only move like a regular character animator puppet, but can change expressions at the stroke of a key. And you can see we've got the control panel down here with very simple stuff. So all we've got is the head turns and the body turns, and then the 10 emotions that we want to be able to express. But we want all of this to work in conjunction with each emotion. So when I turn the head and then I make Gary angry, I want him to stay like that. But if I turn his head the other way, or his body or anything else, he should stay angry the whole time. So that's really the trick. The only way to do it, unless Character Animator has features that I'm not aware of, which is possible. I'm not, as expert as, say, OK Samurai or any of these dudes, but the only way to do this is really to have a lot of layers and to duplicate them in a structure that allows you to use swap sets to get the result that you want. We're just taking a basic puppet, and then for each element that we want to be able to change to express a different emotion, we're creating a swap set within it. So let's say the eyebrows. We want to be able to change the eyebrows if he's happy or sad or angry. So under here, you've got all your emotions, right? A folder for each one. Same thing with eyelids. All the emotions under here. You'll notice that neutral and happy are just empty, and that's okay. You don't actually need to have eyelids for some of the emotions. For others, they're very important. For the angry emotion, for instance, you really can't make a character look angry without slitting the eyes a little bit. So the eyes themselves, we opted actually not to change the shape of the eyes because we thought that was unnecessary if you've got the eyelids, but we have the ability to change the pupils. So the pupil has the swap sets underneath it. And likewise, the mouth. So we have the mouth swap set group, and then we have all of the emotions. And then underneath each of these emotions, we have each Viceme available in Character Animator. So all 14. Now that looks like a lot of layers, and it is, but actually we don't create the artwork separately for each one. We actually create 2 different sets of Vicemes, one in a more happy state, one in a more neutral state, and we reuse those for each emotion. So for instance, the angry Vicemes are really just the neutral ones. Okay, so there's ways of minimizing the artwork. You don't need to necessarily have the number of Vicemes multiplied by the number of emotions you want, because that would be 140. It's quite a lot. But you're welcome to do that. And that's one of the powers of using this sort of templating idea. We're a lot more lazy than that. So, and to be honest, I think you get diminishing returns. You could go more extreme though, and you're welcome to if you want to. We're just not doing it for Mandela Days at this point. Trying to keep it a little bit simple and manageable, otherwise we'll never get the episodes out at all. And you can see here in rig mode where we've done the mapping. So if we take the eyelids, for instance, you can see down here for normal, we've mapped the normal eyelids layer to the normal trigger. So that's the one that we've got selected there. And if I click on here, it'll take me to it. Same thing with happy. So if I scroll down and look at the normal eyelids happy, That should highlight this layer here. But the cool thing is you don't need to know how to map these up, because all of this mapping that you're seeing here for Gary exists in the template already. So what is templating? Templating is basically creating a file that's a starting point that saves you from doing all of the work, the repetitive work, to get the same result again, right? So one of the things that enables templating in Character Animator is that you can actually apply triggers, behaviors, and tags to groups as opposed to the layer artwork. Now, you won't see this in some of the Character Animator puppets that are provided by Adobe, and I'm not sure why that is, but what I found is if I create a template where all the behaviors, triggers, and tags are applied only to groups and never directly to a layer, you can actually take that, delete all of the layers that have no tags on them because you haven't put them there, and it doesn't upset the mapping in Character Animator. So that's how we've enabled templating, because if we've applied everything to groups only, then we won't lose that mapping when we change the artwork. And of course, the actual setup of dragging layers around and so on is a little bit tedious and requires quite a lot of work. So I'm not going to show you that step by step because it will literally take probably an hour per puppet. But if you think about how long it would take to create this puppet from scratch, maybe 2, 3, 4 hours, you're saving a lot of time by using the template. So what you'll need to do is, of course, just as you go through the puppet, get your artwork in, get all the layers, separate them out if they're not already separated by the artist, but hopefully they have been, and just drag the appropriate layers into the Photoshop files. So yeah, all you need to do, for instance, is just copy this head layer into your face background, copy your eyeballs into your eyeball layers, copy in all your mouth swap sets. And if you want to use normal in more than one place, I would go Control C to copy, and then I'd highlight this, paste it in, and then just drag and drop to make it a child. The most important thing is hold down Shift when you do Control V to paste, because otherwise Photoshop has that weird feature where it'll paste it to some random point that wasn't the same as where it was copied from. And you can go through and apply that same logic to pretty much quite a few other areas. For instance, the pupils, left pupil and right pupil. So I've actually just got 3 pupils for that. And I just copy either the small, big, or normal into all of the other ones. And the only thing that really varies significantly for every single emotion, all 10, is the eyelid layer. And what you'll find I've done there is Kaylin's just drawn a bunch of different eyelids, sad left, sad right, angry left, angry right, and so on and so forth. You know, different levels of squint, basically. And I've copied up to 4 of those in each of the emotions. So if you look at happy, you'll see that's actually empty because the eyelids don't change when he becomes happy. But for sad, I've got sad left and sad right in there. And if I enable that one, you can see that that makes him look a little bit sad. Likewise for tired, except in the case of tired, you've got all 4 lids moving. So I've selected eyelids for top, bottom, left, and right. One of the most important things is to have an agreement with the artist that's doing the drawing. You need to come up with a naming convention and make sure that the artist understands what artwork they need to generate, how many eyelids, how many different sizes of pupils, all the mouth swap sets, and so on, so that you'll be able to bring it in and make the puppet work in the way that you intend. Hopefully that gives you enough information to get your artwork arranged correctly in Photoshop. We're almost guaranteed to have made mistakes. So in the next video, I'll show you how we import that into Character Animator and all of the terrible mistakes that I made while trying to organize the artwork. Trust me, there will be plenty. So I'll also show you how to resolve some of them so that you can see what the common types of mistakes are. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Go check out the pilot. We put a lot of work into it. And as you can see, we're putting a lot of work into the series. So if you're interested in seeing it brought to fruition, we are doing a Kickstarter. You can go check that out as well. If you happen to have a rich aunt, you know, who might be senile, send it to her and just tell her to click the buttons. Just click the buttons, aunt, you know, and if she happens to donate by clicking random buttons, that would be great. Hope it helped. Hope you got something out of this. And I'll see you in video 3.